Hey, welcome to Below the Skirt with Tamara. It is me, Tamara Green, pelvic rehab therapist. I am here today with you ladies. Hope your day is going well. You may have seen what the topic is. Are you checking your tatas? As you know, this month is Women's Health Month. Not Women's Health Month, excuse me. As you know, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And many women have died or lost their battles when it comes to breast cancer in itself. And am I an expert when it comes to breast cancer? I'm not. But just like you, I've learned along the way as new information has been brought out there to us at ways that we can be more proactive about what we have going on. So, question. Are you checking your breast on a monthly basis? Are you checking your breast on a monthly basis? Question you may ask, how do you do that? Okay, so it doesn't have to be this big show. You're doing this, you're doing that. What you need to do is just lay on your bed. And what I do when I lie down in my bed, I'll put my hand behind my head and just really relax myself down. And without your bra on, you're circling, assessing your breasts. And don't y'all laugh, I don't have the biggest breasts out there, and these things are lifted too. So anyways, but you're going in a circular motion. You start from the outer aspect, and then you're working yourself all the way around in circles. And you're feeling if you're having any sore areas. And mind you, if it's during the time of your menstrual cycle, which you don't necessarily want to do, that may be a tender time, so you're not doing it then, but you want to definitely pick a time, the same time every month, so you know what you're feeling, what changes are occurring versus what isn't occurring. But if you're going in the circular motion, are you feeling like a knot, or you're looking for maybe like a bump? Hopefully you don't feel anything, but we do have, everybody's breast is made up differently. You know, you may have some different, is it called fibrotic areas in there, right? So if you don't check your tata on a monthly basis, if there is a change, you're not going to necessarily know what the change is going to be. So those are what that's what you're looking for. And a lot of women only just go circular, you know, in circles around the breast until you get to the nipple region, right? You also need to go in this area here, because the breast tissue is, this is the bone, right? The breast, the pectoralis muscle, it goes from the sternum area, right? And it attaches here. But the breast tissue is from this area, here, I'm gonna imagine mine was up here. But it went from here and it goes all the way around. So you can actually, you need to be checking in here. I remember a former colleague of mine, she had breast cancer, and she went to the doctor, and she was saying she just kept having breast discomfort, or she was having pain in the outer part right here. And he was just like, there's nothing wrong, everything's good. Mind you, they missed it. She actually had breast cancer in the lymph nodes it went to the lymph nodes in this area. And she ended up having to have a mastectomy. Long story short, she ended up having lymphedema. So just realize that when you're doing your self-exams, it is not just in the circular motion of the breast here. It is also going underneath, under that armpit area. And in about 2 weeks, I'm going to also share in this page, I have a breast cancer survivor, one of my former clients. She's going to go live with me, and I'm going to, I don't hold back on anything, y'all. I really don't. And she's going to speak with me when it comes to, and questions that I'll have for her when it comes to dealing with breast cancer, the aftermath of the treatments, and not only that, but what she went through as a double mastectomy, reconstruction after having a failure. That's the twist on that. But I'll put that information out there, but just make sure you're doing your self-examinations. And if you're tuning in, give me a little like or a share or whatever you want to do. Hope your day is going well. But the biggest thing is doing your self-assessments. Just like I always say, hey, check out your Virginia. You need to be looking at her. You need to see, okay, how does she look? How does she smell? How does she, I'm not going to say taste. Y'all got me on that one. You know, all the senses when it comes to Virginia, it's the same thing with your Tata. And yes, after you do the circular motion, you need to also be squeezing that nipple area. So taking the nipple at the bottom of the nipple and pulling up, seeing if you're having any type of fluid. Now, for me, and if you recently had a child, I didn't recently have a child, but after I had my child, I still was having some milk residue coming from my breast. So I stopped breastfeeding my daughter after a year. And I would say maybe 2 years after, even after she was born, so a year after breastfeeding, I still was having a little bit of milk discharge if I were to squeeze. So of course I went to my OBGYN. I did notice it in both breasts, which was good, versus just something in one and something not happening to the other. When I went to the OBGYN, she explained to me that it continues on. And that was before I really got into women's health as a pelvic physical therapist. So realize if you've recently had a baby, if you've had discharge, then that discharge is not necessarily means it's cancerous. Because one of the symptoms, the signs they say to look for is if when you're squeezing the nipple, if you notice some type of discharge, get it checked out. I also had another colleague of mine, and just I'm going through someone else's experience. She actually, she ended up having breast cancer. And when she had it, her only signs was when she went to get her mammogram. When she went to get her mammogram, what happened? They noticed discharge when they were, you know, when you put your breast underneath, when they're getting the views, when they were pushing down on it, she was having discharge. That was the only sign. She never had, she said she had a little bit of pain, but nothing that stood out. But for the most part, the discharge is what brought on the red flag for her being positive for breast cancer. So definitely check her out. And I remember when I first started my business almost 7 years ago in February. And 2 weeks before I was going to open the door of my business, I was just doing a self-check and I noticed a lump. Now, y'all can see that I'm skinny, right? To my ribs. So I noticed a knot or a lump over more of a ribbier area, but it still was in the breast area and it was very tender. So, of course, as I get older, I learn to react after something is told to you or respond after something's told to you. I started self-diagnosing. Sometimes us medical providers are the worst when it comes to having that knowledge. So I started diagnosing myself with breast cancer. Y'all should have seen me. I was running around. I already have life insurance, but I wanted a bigger life insurance because I wanted to get that life insurance before I got a diagnosis. And I'm saying all that to be said is if I did not assess myself, I may not have seen it. It was sore. As soon as I called my doctor, I was emotional and I said, you know, hey, I'm noticing a spot, they're noticing a tender area. They allowed me to come in the next day. I went in the next day to see them. She was like, yeah, we need to get this looked at. And my husband looked at it too. He was like, what's that right there? And he noticed the difference as well. So that's why I always say, know your body. Don't let your partner be the one that knows your body more than you. I brought it to his attention. He didn't bring it to mine. So going back to my story, the next day after going to see the doctor, they got me in for a mammogram ASAP. Y'all, you should have seen them. They are trying to get my breast into this machine. And she was like, I need more. I'm like, I can't give you any more. This is what I got. This is what I'm working with, right? But long story short, they got it in, then they did an ultrasound and everything was fine. They felt like it was more like a calcium deposit or something. And they had I think it was a calcium deposit. Can't remember what it was. But long story short, I had went to a cookout the day before. I'm not a big soda drinker and I threw down because I saw some sodas. And that's why I don't get sodas because I don't know how to act sometimes. So I don't drink a lot of soda, but I drank a lot of soda for that weekend. I don't know if it was like 4th of July weekend or something like that. And no, it wasn't, because it was right before my I opened up. It was sometime, one weekend, and went in there, and he was saying that was probably what caused it. He said, if you were my wife, and this is the doctor, if you were my wife, I would have been concerned just like you. I would have been concerned just like you. And I went through all of that. Whoop-la, it was an emotional roller coaster in my house. It was and it was on a weekend too. So it was a long dragged weekend waiting for like that Monday to come. And then I'm questioning God, like, why are you allowing me to open up this business? And now I'm going to have breast cancer and all of that. And I learned a valuable lesson first. Always check on yourself. Check your body. If something is different, get it checked out. You don't want anything to happen, but a no will give you a sigh of relief. And secondly, do not respond, and I'm older now, you respond after you hear information. Don't fill in the blanks of something that you don't know anything about, or it's not even for you. That's the biggest thing. So again, making sure that you are checking your tatas. And it's very common in that what I learned in my situation, yes, I don't have a lot of density when it comes to breasts. I'm not as blessed as some of you ladies, but I want you to know, if you're having more density, the bigger your breast, based on what they told me, you're more higher at risk of having breast cancer. So that is why I was always scared about getting a breast implant, y'all. I was like, well, if I go in here and I start checking some stuff out and I can't really feel what I need because there's an implant in there, am I gonna miss it? So that's me thinking as a medical professional. But if you have larger breasts, make sure you're checking yourselves in many different areas. If you're lying on your back, making sure you're assessing in circles on your back with your arm up, standing up in the shower, do it on your side on this area, because you know what, gravity, if I shift over here, my breast is going to shift over here. If I shift over here and lay on my other side, my breast is going to shift over here. So make sure, if you're a heavy-breasted woman, make sure you're getting deep in those areas to make sure you can feel, make sure you don't have anything going on, and make sure you're squeezing that nipple to see if you're having any discharge. And a lot of things can be taken care of ahead of time if you do your part. If you're self-assessing, if you're tuning in, hey to you. You may not want to comment, but if you want to, say hey to me. But definitely do your month exams. Monthly of assessing your tatas, monthly of assessing your Virginias. Again, we're doing the senses. How does things look? Is there discoloration? Is there a nipple that's turned outside? And hey, Sarah, Natasha. Woo-hoo, I had to throw that up. But if the nipple is flipped inside out, the inverted nipple, that if you've never had that before, that could be a sign of having breast cancer. If you're having any excess drainage, could be a possible sign. If you're having a tender spot that was not there, if you're noticing a knot or a lump or something that's firm that was not there. So definitely check it out. How does it look? How does it feel? Give me the senses. We ain't gonna taste. Y'all got me last time. How does it smell? Just check all those areas. That for your breast and also for your Virginia. Again, I will be having a live guest in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from this Tuesday at noon. I will have it in this group where I will be interviewing her and her struggles that she did go through when she went through breast cancer, the treatments that she went through, how it affected her relationship with her husband, and how long it took her to come out of that to be comfortable and accept her new tatas. Checking out Clarissa's comment. She says, I have a lot of fibroids and the doctor told me that that is common for African American women, which is true. That's what I was saying. Caffeine chocolates are feeders on them. I've had 3 biopsies done and at the point to getting them removed. I was on an every year basis for 3 years. There you go, Clarissa. Do you mind, I don't know who you, I mean, I know who you are, but if you're comfortable, are you a heavy-breasted woman? Are you a little-breasted woman like me? Even though I love me. Big things come in small packages, right? So that, are you a heavy-breasted woman? Are you a small-breasted woman? Curious to know. And she's right. It's having fibroids. That runs in my family, so I definitely pay attention to it. And it's very common for African American women to have that. And again, what she was saying was with the chocolate and the caffeine, those are stimulants or feeders to it as well. So again, I'm staying more away. I stay away from Coke. If I get Coke, I make Pepsi, excuse me, once every 3 months or something like that, just as a little type of treat. Okay, I'm heavy breast, she said now, heavy breast now, right? And those are things, you know, as we get older in age, our breast will develop more. I think it skipped over me, y'all. I was waiting, but it didn't happen. But yeah, so definitely just really checking and realize those are stimulants to having fibroids as well. Clarissa also said, yes, breast cancer is in my family with my great-grandmother, and she had one removed, right? And I would definitely say, for me, Clarissa, my grandmother has breast cancer. My grandma has breast cancer, and I remember they diagnosed her, and I think I was like 8 months pregnant with my daughter. And that was like a Ram truck that hit us. Definitely caught us off guard. And for her situation, you know, hopefully it's not HIPAA violation, but she's my grandmother. She's not on Facebook. But for her situation, but this is a teaching moment. I'm sure she would mind me teaching y'all some information. She went 6 months after her scheduled appointment. Something came up. She didn't reschedule right after that. She went 6 months later, and if I'm not mistaken, hers was a stage 2. She didn't have a mastectomy, and she didn't go through chemo for her situation because my grandma is a stroke survivor, and so she has some debility on one side. She has hemiplegia on her left side. So going through chemo, that was going to be a big thing for her because it would have functionally impacted her with her being in her 70s, having debility on one side, and then having chemo on top of that would have not been good functionally for her. But she's doing well for her situation. I'm not sure what type breast cancer she has, but she's still trucking on. My grandma's been here for 7 years, and we are just truly blessed and thankful. You also said, Clarissa, I had to get one of my ducts clipped because I was leaking milk after my last child. Gotcha. And like you said, that can give a false positive as to why, you know, okay, are we having something going on with our breasts? So that's definitely, that's pretty right. They stop that false positive, stop the leaks, so you make sure it's nothing else going on. Natasha also wrote, hey, wow, this is good information regarding caffeine and fibroids. I find mine daily. I know intake too much. I now, not quite sure of that last sentence, but that's okay. That's okay. So, but yeah, so definitely self-exams is very, very important. And it's that whole component. These are just things that we have to deal with. You know, we don't want to deal with it, right? Anybody want to deal with this? But I think as mothers, as aunts, as grandparents, as sisters, like, we want to be here. We want to be here to experience life. We want to see growth of our family members. We want to be able to retire and enjoy the retirement after it. Just realize a part of this process, a part of this road, you have to take care of your body. Your body is a machine. Your body is a machine. So with your body being a machine, just like you have to oil your machine, you have to make repairs, you have to do tune-ups. That is the same thing that goes on when it comes to your self-care of your body. You got to keep up with the maintenance of her, because she will only sustain as long as you take care of her. And if there's something, if she has a malfunction, Say you notice something there that should not be there. Well, you're being proactive and you're taking care of it at the beginning, so you won't have that. You will be able to increase your chances of survival, right? So you can be able to experience the things that you want to experience. So again, early detection is the key. Early detection is the key. So I just wanted to stop in just to remind you, yes, it's October. It's breast cancer awareness, but breast cancer is not just October. Breast cancer awareness is every month. It is every day. So it's important, as we always take care of our vaginas, right? Our Virginias, but it is just as important to take care of our tatas. They're there. After a certain point, we may feel like we don't need them. Some other people may need them, or want them, but they're a part of us, and we have to take care of it, take care of them. And also for Clarissa, you said that your great-grandmother ended up having breast cancer. You know, after having her breast removed, there's so many options out there. You know, we feel, not we, because I haven't been there, but the clients that I've worked with, they feel like something is missing, right? If they've had a mastectomy, some have chosen not to have a full reconstruction. Some have decided that they have decided not to, and then there's some that have decided to have it. I know of women who have not had it, and they've ended up getting breasts that had some type of implant in it. So when they're wearing clothing, that it does not show a change, right? So those are options as well if you don't want to go through the whole reconstruction, because that's a process as well, and it's not easy, but it's definitely doable because many women do it. So again, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely send me a message, and I would love to chat with you. Again, if there's anything that you would like to talk about, hey, send me a message. Put it in, put it in a comment section. I check the comments maybe once a week or something like that, once a couple days. So definitely put it in, because this group is not for me. It's not. This group is for you ladies. It's for you. And I want to give you the information that you need, information you desire. And you may also say, well, hey, Tamara, I don't know what to ask. Well, that's okay too. I'll just keep pouring in. But if there's something you want me to talk about, definitely drop it in. Check in the comments before I skedaddle. Right, I'm looking to having it. Right, I'm looking to having it if another fibroids appear. I gotcha. You're welcome, Clarissa. Oh, I missed it. No problem, Shadana. You can definitely catch the replay of it. And I'm speaking on what we should be doing, what we should be looking at when it comes to our breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer is not every month. It's not just October. Breast cancer is every month. Breast cancer is every day, because we should be truly assessing our body, not just from the breast itself, but the whole breast tissue that wraps around underneath the armpit, looking for if there's any painful lumps. Is there a lump? Is there an inverted nipple? Is there any leakage that is observed when you get to the nipple and you're kind of pulling in and out? Seeing if you're having that. If you are someone who just recently had a baby, it is very common. I still had a year after having my baby, when I went to my yearly appointment after the whole postpartum component, then I noticed that I still had leakage, and she said it was fine. I still had leakage for another 2 years even after that. So 3 years after I had my baby, it wasn't all the time, but periodically I just wanted to check. So I went in and I really pushed, and I got a little bit of clear fluid. But now she's all dried up. She's all dried up. So, but the biggest thing is me being aware of my body, and what changes have occurred is what inspired me to ask the questions that I did. So it's been great. I love you, ladies. I love tuning in. Yes, Miss Doris, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It is my honor to serve y'all and bring the information and knowledge that I know. So you have a good rest of the evening. I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, same time, same place at 8 o'clock. If you know of anyone or there's some women you feel that would be appropriate for this group, which is almost everybody, but if they're appropriate for this group and they're interested and they're wanting to receive information and they want to have a good time while we do it, because, you know, I definitely try to make this as comical and funny about these such private matters, invite them into the group, and help spread the word, So again, you have a good evening. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, Tuesday, same time, same place.